Hey everybody, Nick here. Welcome back to the channel. So humans have a lot of traits and behavioral patterns and just ways that make us all different and similar at the same time. And I always wondered, what is the cause of all of this? Are we born this way? Some would say that behavior is learned and taught. And that may be true because we're kind of a product of our own environment, Or is it written in the DNA? Now, maybe some things are inherent and we can't really control, such as like instinctual things that go back to like the caveman days and all that, survival mechanisms. And maybe some things are, learned, because they say when we're born, we're a blank slate. Now, for many things, I do believe that's true. For example, the feelings we have, or what makes you a good person or a bad person. I mean, I'm going to go more in depth about, evil and good, or good and evil, in another video, but I always wonder what drives human behavior. What drives somebody to be a lunatic? What drives somebody to treat another person like complete dog shit? Or what drives somebody to abuse animals and gets pleasure out of it? Or what drives somebody to want to help a neighbor, What is the essence of this? Like, where does this come from? There are many theories. I just told you a few of them. It's really bizarre, and one thing that I can say is, like, with animals, for example, they basically live and thrive on instinct, mainly instinct. Sometimes you can, when it's a domesticated animal, yes, you can teach them, like dogs and things like that. But for the most part, if you left a dog in the wild, it would just be instinctual. I can give a perfect example, actually. Even if it's domesticated, there's certain things that an animal can just for some reason learns. Like, I rescued a cat from the street, and he had no mother to, guide him along, give them milk. It was a kitten when we rescued it. And somehow he learned certain things that cats do on his own, using the washroom. That's one thing that's usually is taught, especially as humans, right? But maybe that urge, you start feeling it, and you're gonna get that noise a lot. And and it just comes naturally, certain things like that. But also, you can tell that instincts kick in, even for a domesticated cat. It's really quite remarkable. And I think that's like DNA coded, obviously. Whoever created us, whatever created us, wherever we came from. Some would say God. I personally think it could be another race of, highly advanced civilization, or aliens. We'll never really know, I guess, until we're gone. Maybe we won't even find out. And that's another thing I was going to mention is, like, are we really at fault for most of the stuff that we do here on this planet, in this realm? Are a lot of people really at fault? For two reasons. A lot of it is instinctual driven, So your survival mechanism kicks in, and you do whatever you have to do to survive, whether it's good or bad. There's people like that, which You may not agree. I may not agree with certain ways of going about it, for sure, because I don't believe in criminal activity and being, harming another person just so you can survive. But there is that, and can we fault them? Can we fault people like that? Can we fault people for a lot of other things that they do? Probably not. Such as if they're taught this, if it's the only thing they know. Do you know what I mean? And as the older you get, the harder it is to retrain yourself, to learn new things, obviously. To change a person's frame of mind as well, or way of thinking. It's like that phrase, you can't teach an old horse new tricks, But I think a lot of us can't be blamed for a lot of the things we do. And I'm not trying to excuse any of the criminal activity people do, or when someone harms another, whether that's killing them or, anything that is considered bad or evil, because I do believe there is a distinction. I know some people are going to be like, well, and I'll do that in another video talking about that, but let's stick with this topic. So are we really at fault, for a lot of things? We're a product of our environment. If our parents were terrible people, what do you think's most likely going to happen? You're going to learn to do the same exact things from terrible people, unless you have a good role model. And it is very important to have a good role model, I think, especially for kids. I don't know if society's going to get better, because kids these days don't respect parents or any authority figure whatsoever. It seems like it's really, really faded. It's not like it was, 30 years ago. Like when I was growing up, we were taught, and again, but if we're going to survive in some sort of society, there has to be order, and it seems like the chaos is just rampant and ramping up, might I add. So there's that. You can see it all around. Just the youth is not as respectful as they used to be, especially for like senior citizens. For me, it goes automatic, where like if I see an older person standing, whether that's on the bus or whatever, I don't even think. It's just I give it up, because for me it feels like the right thing to do. And if it was me, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would want someone to respect me in some manner, because you don't know if that person has health problems or whatever, just being kind. There's a lot of that missing in this world. But it's just, it's a good question to ask. Are we at fault for many of the things that we do? Same with like a criminal. If that's all they've known, how do you rehabilitate somebody like that? I don't think it's possible. There's always exception to the rule in this, in this realm, this thing we call life. But it's very, very unlikely and very rare that happens. You get like, you ever going to be able to rehabilitate a psychopath or a serial killer? The chances are next to nil. But what really drives, human behavior? There's another theory that I've heard where it's Wetiko, which is an external force that's, driving humans this way. I'll get into it in another video, but if you guys know a little bit about that or heard about it, it's been in the ancients, for many, many years they talk about this. I think in the Islamic culture, it's the jinn. In Christianity, it's Satan, or the devil. Many different forms, but this could be, whether it's an external force, I don't know. Are they manipulating humans? Possibly. But the fact of the matter is, it exists, and it's rampant. It's bad, you know. Especially in the country I live here, man. Whew, you have to be very careful. Just so many grifters and people trying to hustle you and just to earn enough to put food on the table for one day. Survival is a really, you know, fucked up instinct. Desperation as well, because it forces people to do things that they wouldn't normally do. Like, I always think of the post-apocalyptic future, like Mad Max or whatever. Like, look what people are willing to do. They go, you know, were they always a bad person, but they stay in the bounds of the law because they were worried about going to jail? There's that fact, you know. If this world was a safe place, we wouldn't need laws. We wouldn't need policing. We wouldn't need a lot of things that we put in place to, like guardrails for innocent people's safety, you know, for the public good. It's crazy. Speed bumps, for example, so that people just don't drive like crazy people and accidentally run someone over. That's why alcohol is illegal to drive after you've drank, because you could kill somebody. But yet people, time and time again, continue to, you know, do these things. And why? No disregard? I mean, or think that maybe it's not going to happen to them. It's unbelievable. So I always wondered, like, what the hell is driving humanity's behaviors and nonsense? It's a good question. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. It'd be nice to know what you guys think about that. Just the thought of the day. Sometimes I have to slow myself down because it's just a lot of things to talk about. Oh, and just before I let you guys go, this is a pineapple plant that I'm gonna plant later on. Kind of neat. And one plant gives one pineapple. So, and once the pineapple is grown, the plant pretty much will never give another fruit again. So it becomes useless. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Again, let me know what you think, and hit the like. We'll see you guys in the next video very soon. Bye for now.